What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Edgeworks Knife Studio. I've got, it's going to be kind of a short one today. I'm extremely exhausted. It's been a week from hell, but I got to get up early, so I'll get something else going this weekend. But I did want to show you guys, I mentioned that I wanted to demonstrate this, and I haven't done much with it because of the fact that I wanted to do a video on it first, right? Get more of a first reaction. I did do kind of a test edge with the Cheefarcuut, and I can see, so it is, like I mentioned, it's iron cladded, and I can see where the cladding is actually going to need to be peeled back, but I don't need to do it right now. Actually, I kind of do on this side, but that's okay. We're not going to do that right now. I've got enough where I can sharpen it because I wanted to see how sharp this thing can get. I'd mentioned, you know, how thin it was, you know, for a giant Chinese chef knife there. I did put boiled linseed oil on the handle, one of my favorites. But you know, so far, and again, limited here with my experience with it, but just the minimal amount of experience I've had, I love it. I'll show you too. So the fact that it's rustic is what really kind of drives me. I love the karoshi finishes on knives. If you couldn't tell, the majority of my knives are that way. I do have obviously some polished knives and whatnot. But I really love this blacksmith finish, this really rustic kind too. You know, because you can get the karoshi and still have a well-polished knife. Well, this thing's pretty rough, and not in a bad way. So you can see there, I mean, you got your finish, and if you look at your, like, that looks thick, right? You're like, dadgum, maybe that knife is thick. Well, it's not, because you see how thin it is there? And if you look, if I can bring it, yeah, so that up here, the spine, it's hammered. That's where they've hammered it out. So it's got the classic Chinese cleaver tang. So it comes out and just wraps around. That's how they secure the knife. I mean, even that is just, I mean, that's just rough as all get out. But it gives it character. So this is kind of like a ledge, you know. It's kind of hard to show, but it just gives it this character. It's where they hammered it out. So this is, you know, it's machine hammered on a spring hammer, of course. But 100%, this was just a piece of steel that you can see where it's been hammered, squished and everything. It's mostly straight, but even there you can see kind of how it's kind of little, got a little like, doo-doo-doo-doo. That's exaggerated, of course. And up the top, I filed this a little bit, but that's where it's been cut off, like when they do the hot cut. But if you use a tool and a power hammer, spring hammer, and you cut it off there, it leaves this crude kind of edge. And it was the same thing back here. So it was a continuation, because this kind of forms a peak almost. You know, I don't know if you can see it. Again, I kind of filed that back some. Probably can't see it well, but that's fine. Just take my word for it. So again, one solid piece of cladded steel. So again, you got an iron cladding on the outside, just like you do with your standard Japanese knives. And the core steel is 65 manganese steel. 65 manganese steel is spring steel. This, I believe, is, it can vary, but it seems to be 62-ish HRC. You know, it's between 60 and 62. We'll just put it like that. So what I want to do is I want to put an edge on it. This thing comes no edge. Well, I shouldn't say no edge. It comes with an attempt of an edge. You know, it's almost as if what they're doing is they're hammering these out quick, because they are. They're 26 bucks, $26 on Amazon. So they're hammering these out, and it looks like if they put it, you know, on the grinder to put an edge, they just went like shoomp, shoomp, you know, shoomp, shoomp, done. Not really anything to write home about. Bird to no get out. But that's not what these are for, right? These are crude for a reason. They're for people that like a little project, and they like this kind of thing. You could use the edge that it came with for chopping potatoes. You know what I mean? But anybody that buys this knife to use the edge it came with is not one of these kind of knife people, I guess is the way to put it. And that's not a slam on anybody or anything like that. But that's because the edge, if you look at it, you'll realize it's not necessary. So I want to put an edge. I got a Chosera 400, as you saw, and then I got the Chosera 1000. Just put a quick little edge on it. We'll test it out and see what it looks like, how it cuts through paper, see if there's any jagged edges, how well it takes an edge, how quick it does it even on these non-diamond stones. See if it gets nice and sharp. And then I think I'm going to use the crap out of this thing. But you know, for $26, just looking at it, there's so much potential here. If you look, like I said, if you look at it for where it sits in your hand out of the box, it's for a project. So anyway, this is what it comes in, this box here. And that's the brand name. Oop, my camera's reversed. That's the brand name right there, Kitory. I'll put a link up in the pinned comment. The entire thing is pretty much in Chinese except for sharp knife, and it is not sharp out of the box. Even the back, yeah, even the back is just all Chinese, you know, whatnot. Whoop. So anyway, nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. This is going to become, I'm hoping, a main prep knife for me. So without too much more babbling there and carrying on, because I could probably talk about this thing forever. See, you can even see some of these rougher marks here. I mean, again, this thing, it is not some beauty contest winner. But yeah, so 65 manganese steel. I had to ask them for that because it was not listed in there as it just said manganese steel. I had to get the specifics. So we got our Chosera 400. These are pre-flattened. I flattened them the other day after I was doing some bevel work on a razor that was really bad. So I'm going to, because the profile kind of has a swoop to it, I may do just long strokes with this one. I don't know. I may do the focus targeted stuff too. We'll wing it. We'll see what we want to do. I'm going to put a standard edge on it, like I do with my Sentokus, Gyotos, whatever, Nakiris. I'm not going to put any kind of specialized edge because I'm not using this to chop anything thick. They don't recommend it anyway because the blade, I don't know, I'm fairly certain with how thin it is, it will chop or chip. So this is going to be used for slicing and dicing vegetables, meat, things like that. So anyway, definitely don't do frozen foods and don't do bones, okay? You might get away with a few here or there, but eventually and quickly this thing will not make it. So, all right, here we go. I'm actually gonna have to do focus stuff. It's hard to sharpen something like this. Oh my God, I didn't set that right. Yeah, you can tell I'm tired. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. This week is like this every year, and then it goes away. Let's redo that. Yeah, it's usually about a week that this goes on, so. I hope everybody had a good weekend at least, and that the week so far has been good. Like I said, mine's been busy, but it's not unexpected. I got done pretty late last night because it was actually twofold. I had some Clean Summit company ask me to do some drone work for them. So I did some drone video for them and took some photos and video of solar panels. So, and I also want to address the elephant in the room to do with that video the other day. Yes, that was super snarky. I intended it to be, but I hope it didn't come off too awful bad, because I didn't want to go too hard on the guy. I don't know him, and I don't know his intent. I don't know. It just kind of caught me funny, the 5 strokes thing, and it made me think of an idea, right? I mean, what a good video idea. I do have a burr, by the way. Everything, even the back, but the back's not how I want it. I'm going to look at the bevel, though, to see how it looks compared to the rest, and this actually needs some work, so I'm going to target it. Just the whole 5 strokes thing is what got me. And the fact that I was wasting steel. Now, here's the thing. Are there times in my life that I've wasted steel? Absolutely. Mostly whenever I was beginning. Mostly whenever I was learning the trade, right? That is a common comment that I see people of the professional ilk say to beginners, like on Reddit, things like that, where they're like, "Oh, you're really wasting steel, blah blah blah. You know, you're grinding away more than you should, etc." But it's in a situation where it's warranted. Never in my use of the Cheefarcuut, aside of dulling something and trying again to test something, have I wasted material or taken off excess material that wasn't necessary. I'll never do more than is needed unless I'm doing an experiment. Like right now, I'm not taking off more than is needed here because I'm not going back up to this stuff. I'm hitting all this back here, and it does seem like it's even now, which is what I wanted. I just want it to be even. There is obviously some flattening that's going to need to occur, and this is also the side that's going to need more cladding pulled up, so it's a little concave, so it looks like kind of a slip, because through here is nice and flat actually, except for this little spot here, but it's up high, not down low. When it comes to the edge, it's actually pretty flat, but you get back here, you got a little like whoop, kind of contour. That'll mess up the way that it sharpens. So that'll cause, like I'm seeing here, the rest of it was even whenever I sharpened it. This was lacking. Well, that's because that's kind of tucked back in there a little bit more as far as the edge goes. Some flattening and then a couple sharpenings, and that'll be good to go. So there's no need to chase it any further. I just wanted to kind of bring it up a little bit better. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. We're going to hit the other side here. But yeah, so with that video, yeah, wasting is not something I do. It's not something I take lightly either, because number one, the Cheefarcuut, as we all know, that thing will cut. You know, the FSK cuts, the HK Knife Works cuts. They remove some steel. But I'm going to tell you, I don't even think the FSK 400, and I haven't tested it, is going to remove it in 5 strokes, hard pressure or not. Will it change? Because we were talking about it after the fact, some of us were. And we if you want to look, we said it in the comments. Because one user brought it up to my attention and, you know, said, hey, I think it was W30Y. Is it going to be sharper than it was in 5 strokes? Yes. It's going to have something different than what it was when you started whenever it was dull. Is it going to be done and completely ready to go? No, it is not. So, that I agree with, but that's not what was said. And as you can hear me, I'm continuing to yap right now, and I'm doing that on purpose, just so that you guys know. So the factory bevel on this side was a lot higher and bigger than the bevel on this side. FYI, I will eventually even that out. I'm not going to do that now, of course, but when we flatten it, this is all get brought to even. So the spots that I added are the same size, but like it gets wider here, the actual core. But that's fine. No big deal. No big a deal. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just visually unappealing. There we go. Okay. I would have used the Cheefarcuut or the FSK or something, but I wanted to use regular stones on this one. I plan to use these stones on the Maleo too. What a great knife, by the way. Thanks again, Adam. I appreciate that, man. I've been using the crap out of that thing. I think this would complement it really well. This will do some like big old chopping. I think this would be great for like cantaloupe and watermelon and things like that too. Because I mean, this thing, it's a big blade, you know. There's no lack into this one. All right, I think we're good. So I'm going to deburr. And when I deburr, because I'm going to the 1000, I'm not, wait a minute. I need a little bit more on the tip real quick. I'm not going to deburr a whole lot now. When I get to the 1000, I will. There we go. There we go. So all I'm just going to do is just kind of basically knock it off a little bit here. Just ever so slightly. Oh, it's still a little on that side. Just light pressure. All right, we're good. All right. Well, I don't normally do this, but I want to get it because sometimes it'll soak up water, like the first couple of splashes. So I'm gonna let it go ahead and get a little quick drink before I pull it out of there. I'll just go ahead and take the surface off of this one. Anybody got any weekend plans coming up? Holler at me, let me know what you're gonna do. I got we order like some local beef, and we order, you know, quite a bit at a time because number one, man, food, beef and stuff is expensive. You know, meat of any kind is, even chickens. I mean, I remember when chickens were like $4 or $5. But so we buy that stuff in advance, and if you buy in bulk like that, you get, you know, a discount. So I picked some of that up, and I'm gonna be doing some steaks this weekend. Still had some steaks in there, but man, I don't know if anybody's had chuck steak. I'm a ribeye guy. I love ribeye. I love Wagyu, which that stuff's really expensive and hard to come by, especially around here. But ribeye's my jam. But these chuck steaks, man, I used to think chuck steaks were the cheap cut, and they're like tough and just not good. Well, I was wrong. I really like chuck steaks, so I got a bunch of them. They got these thin ones they make for us too. Well, they'll take a regular steak, they'll kind of cut it in thin pieces. And I use that for making like breakfast wraps and stuff. Man, it's so delicious. All right, let's go for this 1K. Let's listen to this Chosera 1000. It's a good stone, by the way. If nobody has the Chosera 1000, it's a really good stone. I got this one from Chef's Edge in Australia. It got shipped free with another order, but it was only like, I want to say $50 US, maybe? Something like that. It definitely makes light work of some steel. But man, it's thirsty. But if I'm honest, you know, Choseras are thirsty. I gotta like spread my fingers so wide on this thing. See, and I've already got a burr. Now, some of that has to do with this 65 manganese steel. It's not the toughest, well, I shouldn't say tough. It's not the hardest steel in the world, obviously. It's a good steel though. You'll see a lot of like custom knife makers, they love to use spring steel. This would be Asian spring steel. Not to be confused with Asian Springsteen. Come on now. Okay. One more little set here and some long strokes on this side. Just some light pressure again. It's between light and moderate. Rick, if you're watching, buddy, hope you're doing good. Those that don't know Rick, he got bit by a spider. It's assumed to be a brown recluse. I hate brown recluses where they're native around here where I'm at and where he's at. They're reclusive, as the name suggests, but whenever they think they're being cornered, even if you're not cornering them, they think they're being cornered. They let you know what they think about their territory. Had a friend of mine, he had a brown recluse crawl on him in his sleep, and it was crawling on his head because it came across the pillow. It went in his ear, not like in his ear hole, but you know, like the outer part of your ear there, that's attached to the lobe and stuff like that and whatnot. So it was in there, and he felt it obviously in his sleep, and instinctively he reaches up to touch whatever it is, because in your sleep you're going to like swat at a mosquito or something like that. And when he did, it bit like right on the conch or whatever they call it there on your ear. It's kind of a bony cartilage spot or whatever. Well, I guess it all is up there. Anyway, it bit down and he went into anaphylactic shock. They had to rush him to the hospital. It was crazy. They were worried about like brain damage, all kinds of crap. Little trivia for you, because like I hate these things and I've had to deal with them since moving to the area that I'm in. And we are in the recluse belt, unfortunately. They're all over this area. So they're hard to kill because like people set off, you know, bombs and stuff in their house, like the fog bombs and stuff, for spiders and other insects. Well, it doesn't work for recluses because they're so far in the walls that the fog doesn't go into the cracks and crevices, as well as normal poison doesn't go into their exoskeleton the same way it does with other spiders and stuff. You have to spray their webs with a dust. Now, this is something I read a long time ago, so maybe it's been debunked. This was like 2007. But it said that the dust, if you spray their webs, they eat their webs. I don't know how often, like every couple nights or something, and they redo their webs, but when they eat it, the poison, they ingest it and they die. It's the easiest and best way. Of course, we're deburring now while I'm gabbing here, giving you some spider trivia. This thing's so massive. Just letting the weight of the knife, of course, carry on the stone. I'm guiding it with my fingers because it's so freaking large. With that curve too, it makes it a little more difficult. The way the Chosera 1000 feels too, it's very velvety. So the 400, if anyone's ever used the Chosera 400, and I know a lot of you have, it's a little chalky, right? And I love that. The 1000 is a mix between a velvet feel and that chalky feel. It's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite 1000 grit stones. I have so many, but definitely one of my favorites. Okay, I'm just going to call that where it's at, and we'll test this baby. I'm going to dry her off. I'm very curious how reactive this manganese steel is. I'm just going to call it spring steel from now on. I've already said 65 manganese about 6 million times. I'm annoying myself with it. So I'll just call it spring steel. I am going to check the bevel with my handy dandy little Carson Micro Bright. Make sure I got the burr. It appears, well, I got some small spots. I don't know if it's enough to make a difference. Tell you what I'll do is I'll just run this over the rough side of the strop one time each side. Just once. No treatment on it, just whoop, whoop. I could do with more than that. It's mostly back here that I saw some burr shavings. So, clean that off. Depending on how this feels, this may be the edge that I leave on it, this 1000 grit Chosera edge. I've noticed that Chosera too, it's been a while since they've done it. I think it was like mid 2010s, like 2017, 16, some, I don't know, but that's when they changed their naming thing, and instead of Chosera with an S, C-H-O-S-E-R, it's C-O-C-E-R-A. That's weird, because they went from Chosera to Pro, and now it's Chosera Pro, and the Choseras with a C, so C-H-O-C. Anyway, weird. I don't know why they did that, but whatever. Oh my God. Did we? Damn it. I left this on. It's really hard to hear over that thing. Let's do that again. Just barely. Mega quiet. That means we've got no snags, no nicks, no nothing. Let's do a poosh. This is like butter. This is heavier than like a Gyuto or a Sentoku and stuff. So that helps it push through. But I mean, at the same time, you got this. Man, and that's a cleaver. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a paper towel. Beaver cleaver. Tell you, $26, guys. I'm saying it a million times in this video. I believe it is worth double that, and you still get a good deal. So much potential. The proof is in the pudding. It kind of ripped down at the end, but that's probably because I got to that. So let's see. I mean, this thing, well, that's rough, but still. This is, I mean, the smaller you get with the paper towel, I must say that really weird apparently, the harder it is to cut. But it's cutting right through it. That's a good edge, number one, so you got to be able to put the good edge on it. But I believe all of you are more than capable. I'm nothing special. If I can do it, you can do it. So, yeah, $26, guys. Kitory, or whatever it is. Essentially, I think they just have a place that manufactures knives or things like this in China. They probably said, hey, you guys are making those, make these, we'll sell them on our Amazon store. I'm more than I would buy another one just to have a spare. you know. I'm going to use it for food prep this weekend, and I'll report and let you know. I do want to do, I'm going to not touch it. I'm not even going to thin it yet. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to see how well this edge holds up to just a weekend of use. I'm going to start using it tomorrow. I'm going to use it through the whole weekend and probably report back on it like maybe Wednesday. Then we'll thin it. Not really thin it, but more bring it back to cladding, which is going to thin it. There's no way to not thin it. It's already pretty thin though. Anyway, Kitory, the box, so you can remember the name, and I'll post the link that I got it from. There it is. Ooh, there it is. Yeah, check you one out, guys. Hey, I appreciate the support. Appreciate y'all sticking around. Appreciate you being patient with me while I get through this week. The last couple weeks, actually, it's been pretty crazy for me. So, school's, the first week's almost done. We'll be smooth sailing. So, again, appreciate the support. You guys mean the world to me. Couldn't do this without you, and you are the reason that I continue to do this. So, I will see you this weekend. Peace.